So today, per Ray's request, we're going to make chicken casserole. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to wash my hands. All right. And in here is the pan that I use to cook the chicken. So the chicken for the chicken casserole is already cooked, okay? So this, awesome. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to get the soup going. I have a spoon over here. So I'm going to get this and move it to medium. I'm going to dump 2 cans of cream of chicken soup. It's condensed soup, and I'll get to that in a second. So it's a little thicker than the soup. With condensed soups, what you have to do is you have to add a can of liquid to this as well. You can use either milk or water. So today we're going to use water. I want to make sure most of it is out first before I fill it up here. So there we go. There is one. Put this over here to recycle. And there is 2. Okay. So I'm just going to get a whisk here. Just kind of mix this up, and this is going to start to cook. So this is with the cream of chicken soup. You can just cook this up and eat it. But the important thing is first you have to make sure that it's all mixed together. The can of water or milk and the can of condensed soup. And it is going. So, with the can of soup, this is already cooked. So it's going to be tough to see. I'm going to take my camera person's here. So, you could do it in the microwave, but we're doing it on the stove. So it just says heat and stir occasionally, all right? And you can use milk for thicker soup. But we're going to have enough ingredients here to make it thick, all right? So you can make casseroles a few different ways. You can make it with rice or put it over rice. You can make it with pasta or put it over pasta. But what we're going to use is I'm going to put it on top of rolls, all right? So I'm not going to put any pasta or rice in here. So as you can see, I cooked the chicken earlier. It's been about a half an hour ago, give or take, maybe closer to 25 minutes, all right? And as you can see, I used 1.5 pounds of meat, okay? And so I'm just cutting up the other pieces, all right? And the reason I waited is if I didn't, this would be covered with liquid. Remember, just like the turkey video, you want to make sure it cools off. And then it's going to be in a casserole, right? So everything has to be bite-sized pieces, all right? And if it gets a little thicker, see how this is thicker? You can kind of cut it down the middle and then cut into pieces. You don't want to make a casserole where people have to cut it. All right, so this one's a little thick too, so I'll show you again. All right, and I'm using a very sharp knife for this. All right, we discussed that before. It's just safer to use a sharp knife. And these. Good. Just going to double check the ones I cut earlier and make sure that they're all cut. All right, so I'm just going to quickly check this here. And it's starting to heat up. And what's great about a casserole, and Ray said it in his journal entry, is that you can make it, it makes a lot of different food, and you can eat it one day, and then there's enough for leftovers the other day. So what I'm going to do now is take this and put it into the soup. Okay. Good. And I'm doing it gently. I don't want it splashing, right? Couple more pieces. Oh, one fell off. take this piece, put it in here. And take this spoon. So this is a pan without a handle, which is why I have to keep grabbing the pot holder here, okay? So now you can season it. Now, obviously a lot of the seasoning's in here, but what I'm going to add is thyme. There's an old adage, time loves chicken, chicken loves thyme. It just adds a nice flavor to the chicken. Good, and just enough to cover it. And we'll mix it in. The same thing with the pepper. Okay, so as this heats up, it's going to get a little more liquidy when it heats up. So now what I want to do is add the vegetables. So now this is a meal that can have a lot of the different food groups, right? We're going to put it over the carbs. We obviously have the meat. You can add the milk for the dairy, but now we're going to have the vegetables, and I'm using a mixed vegetable. So it has carrots, corn, peas, and green beans. And this will cook as the casserole is cooking. So what I want is to make it where it pretty much fills it where it's not too liquidy, all right? So I can add a few more vegetables to that. And you just kind of eyeball it until it gets to the consistency that you want, and this is going to be great. So look, now look at this. Now we have the cooked chicken that's already in there. We have the soup that's heating away, all right? And now the vegetables. So now it's going to take about 10 to 15 minutes until this is heated through. You don't want it as a boil, but you want it where a little bubbles are forming on the top. And once it's done like that, then you can take it and let it sit, and the flavors will blend together, okay? And then you can put it on pasta or rice, or in our case, the rolls, and you have a nutritious meal that can feed a family for one night and then have enough for leftovers for your lunch. So, enjoy the chicken casserole. Ray, you had a great idea. Thank you so much.